Welcome to Akhand Vidyashram, the first institute of impeccable wisdom, the walking, talking, encyclopedia. Kundalini, the indwelling human soul. My mission, the impeccable wisdom, knowing which everything is fully known. My greatest discovery, Divyank, the divine design of nature with which the perfect objects are designed and created. Divyank is the reward of 60 years of integrated education. Impeccable wisdom is enlightening, and integrated knowledge is empowering. Let's start from what we left in the last video, Aditi, Aditya, and Aditi. That means Aditi is the mother of Aditya, and Aditi is also the daughter of Aditya, and Aditya is son. There are a lot of references about Aditi being the mother of Daksha as well as daughter of Daksha or of Aditya. Let's not go into details of that, but I have made an attempt to understand in the light of modern science whether this concept could be logically explained within scientific evidence which is independent of my thought. And from that, this particular picture shows very clearly. Let's presume that Aditya is hydrogen, atoms and elements, and helium-4 is Aditi. Let's start with this concept and then talk of the proton-proton nuclear reaction in the core of the sun, which means Aditya. I have divided this concept into two parts. Left side you can say the fusion of helium-4. Another is fission of helium-4. In the left side you can see I have written Aditi, the daughter, the helium-4, how it is formed. It starts with the fusion of two proton hydrogen atoms which lead to the formation of deuterium and then addition of one more hydrogen proton to form helium-3, then fusion of two helium-3 to form helium-4 plus two protons of hydrogen. That means what starts with hydrogen fusion leads to Aditi, but at the same time also hydrogen is also as one of the products. This is what I called Aditi the daughter. That means this helium-4 is formed from the fusion of hydrogen. Aditya to this. On the other side, fission of helium-4, the mother, to form Aditya again, is also the process which is going on simultaneously, where helium-4 is further cut, divided to form hydrogen, atoms and elements. So from that angle, the cycle from hydrogen to helium, helium to hydrogen, and then cycle goes on in sun. As a result, sun has been burning and giving light and life to all the living beings in the solar system, or at least on the earth. As a result, sun is also called the presiding deity of our solar system, and according to ancient Indian sages, the teachers of the ancient sages, quote in quote, is Surya, and I totally agree. As far as I'm concerned, my guru, my teacher is sun, and whatever I've learned from sun is what I'm trying to implement in my life and to be in tune with sun and beyond that too. Realization of that human soul is Kundalini. It is. Let's go into details and find out how far this is true or how far it can be accepted. This picture is also the part of the last. Some of that, what is happening is, in the core of the sun, hydrogen-4 lead to the formation of helium-4, which has got two electrons, two protons and two neutrons, whereas hydrogen has got only one proton and one electron. 1, 1 leading to 4. Even symbolic representation of Aditi is there only with two hands and one head. I don't want to go into details of that because it could be, may or may not be necessary. Anyway, let's go to the next page. Now let's understand Kundalini as explained in Satchakra Nirupana. There are two verses in Satchakra Nirupana, verse 10 and 11 are dedicated to Kundalini. I have not taken the entire thing in Sanskrit, which will be of not much interest to the common person, but few words I have highlighted here, which makes sense with respect to the Kundalini per se. So what are they? Let me translate and transliterate into English language. One statement which is very clear: Kundalini resembles shank or conch shell. You can see shank breath. That is first part. That it is made of 3 plus coils around shivling is what Sardha Trivritit means. That means Kundalini resembles one point shank. As you can see the shank on the right side bottom, and it has also got 3 plus coils. On left side you can see the shivling, and you can also see in snake form Kundalini. Kundalini is like snake form. That's one part. 3 plus can be equated with 22/7 or pi. In the center you can see how spiral shape is leading to this. One more point which has been made very clear here: when Kundalini is active and start awakening, it produces fragrance, intoxicating fragrance, and that also shows the association of Kundalini with Muladhara chakra, Muladhara with so-called earth element or solid, and that association with smell and nose I have already explained. From that angle, it makes sense that this reinformation of the fact is when Muladhara chakra, Kundalini is awakened, the first experience we are going to get is intoxicating fragrance. In this case, it's called Kujanti flower. It could be any flower, but associated with earth, nose, smell, Muladhara chakra, Kundalini, because Kundalini is said to go and sleep in Muladhara chakra only. Now, I have made an attempt to take Kundalini's thing little further, and Akhand Vidyashram, which is my institute, does talk about it. Kundalini sleeps with 3.5 coils around Shiva, the Lord of Moksha, one part. You have seen that shivling. You can see the Kundalini going around like a snake in spiral form. That's one part. Second part, it resembles shank, conch shell in Divyank ratio. As you can see on the right side, length and breadth of knotless shell or shank, which is spiritual in nature. Not every shell I'm talking about. The shank, which is divine in nature, has a ratio of length and breadth in Divyank ratio, that means 1 into 1.6180. So that's also very interesting that ancients also knew that is the length and breadth of this when it awakens up, when it's functional. On awakening also says, on awakening it breaks Brahma Granthi and ascends in dynamic spiral or Kundal form. In the Kundalini also drives its name of Kundal. Kundal means spiral form, wavy form. Even Krishna's hair is like that. And that is also called Kundal Keshav, Kundal Kesh. That also makes it very clear how Sanskrit words are used by different contexts to show the shape, structure, and function of different things. Now, as I've already told you, Kundalini awakening produces intoxicating fragrance and lead to immortality. And moksha, that means when Kundalini wakes up from there and starts ascending to higher, only that can lead to moksha or immortality. As a result, you can be free from all the health issues, whether it's physical health, emotional health, mental health, spiritual health, social health, religious health, or anything for that matter. From that angle, I would definitely say Kundalini plays very, very important role. This is the last picture which I've been using, and I have been saying very clearly. Let's understand. Let us sum up Kundalini, so that with this help of this particular picture, we can understand what Kundalini is, what it does, and what is that, so that we can go to the next stage to understand something more than that. Kundalini, as you can see, shape of Ida and Pingala is in spiral form, and it has been also related or made to resemble representation in the form of snake, hissing snake, the sound part, shape part, the spiral part, kundal part, and its space in Kundalini also is associated with kund, means a vessel which is there in which yagya fire is burnt, and that is also is incidentally the name of pelvic region. So kundal, kundalini, kund, also these words, and then spiral form, wait, and how it goes up. At this juncture, I would leave it with only this limited thing, that Kundalini is a name for Antaratma, Atma, as well as Prana. And at the same time, I think I have already made it clear that soul, our Kundali, our Antaratma, is not a material thing, it is a material form, and it is helium-4, which is the first noble element. It cannot, ancients have already spoken about the quality of Atma or Antaratma is it cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be wet, it is indestructible, inexhaustible, and things like that. If there is element which can be equated with Atma, it has to be only noble element or inert matter. So first inert matter is helium-4, and I'm clear that Antaratma is that, and I would definitely take it to the next stage to explain what is awakening of Kundalini, what is activation of Kundalini, what is ascension of Kundalini, what is Antaryog. At the result, you can be perfectly normal. What is the role of Kundalini in making human body completely healthy, wealthy, wise and happy, integrated, and you can experience the entire universe within the body as a microcosmic representation of the macrocosmic universe, is only with the help of Kundalini. This particular Kundalini, which is indwelling human soul, or Antaratma, Atma, Atman. So let's, from that angle, at this juncture, I would leave it with a complete, let's first accept or understand that Kundalini is not a material thing. It is a material made of inert matter, helium-4, which is produced in the sun, and what is released from that becomes the human soul. And this particular issue has also been well documented by the ancient Indian sages who have experienced the Kundalini, and the Satchakra Nirupana, other things are very clear. But beyond India, if you look at Egyptians also believed the pharaoh is the god, he represents godhood. And I'm glad to share that movie called Ten Commandments, which goes back to 1960s, makes it very clear. When Pharaoh was dying, statement is made, his soul has gone back to sun and merged into sun. And that's how did they talk of so clearly the soul of Pharaoh has gone back to sun and merged with the sun, is something which also made me think a possibility of human soul is association with sun, or something which is produced in the sun or which comes from sun, could be that. So from that thought, from Egyptian mythology you call it, or history you call it, or itihas you call it, and life of Pharaoh Ramesses, or his father, is well known. So that statement was then also additional information for me. Beside reading in Upanishad, the teacher of ancient sages was Aditya, her son, and that is the teaching. So bringing that and then trying to explain in the light of what happens in the sun as a proton-proton nuclear reaction from hydrogen to helium, then helium to hydrogen, also made me understand the statement which is attributed to Vedas, but I cannot authenticate it, which is I made to understand that Aditi is the mother of Daksha, who is the king, and also the daughter of Daksha is also called Aditi. And in Vedas, it is Aditi is the mother of Aditya as well as daughter of Aditya. These confusing thoughts, now I am able to understand, actually they make a lot of scientific sense with the help of proton-proton nuclear reaction in that. So from that angle, I will leave it. I'm convinced beyond doubt my Antaratma, my Kundalini, is made of helium-4 and it has come from the sun, and it's trying to, in the process, to go back to its source sun. It's literally rising and giving me all the experience within that. And instead of 7 chakras, which everybody else is, if you're taking the Kundalini through the external route to that, which I do not believe much, whereas I have experienced 10 plus chakras within, as well as Antar-yoga Kundalini within the central, and then keeping within the ventricles that experience, and then with the help of that able to produce 8 hertz frequency throughout the brain with eyes open and eyes closed, convinced me evidently that if this is Kundalini, it should go into central canal or Brahmanadi. So that way the description of Ida, Pingla, Sushmana, Vani Nadi, Surya Nadi, Chandra Nadi, and Brahma Nadi, and then taking it to Antar Yoga of Akhand Yoga, which is not Ashtang Yoga, it's Dasang Yoga. Patanjali's 8 stages plus Kundalini chakras awakening consciousness, Kundalini Yoga, plus Antar Yoga makes it 10 stages. As a result, I am able to experience all the 100 trillion cells of the body and see the beauty and find that all the wisdom is there actually within the body. From that, I would leave it at that. At this particular juncture, let's only talk about the theoretical basis, genesis of Kundalini, where it comes from. But what happens thereafter, I will leave it. But next, I'm going to talk about something which I wonder whether anybody has ever spoken about it. Descent of Mahashakti or Mahakundalini. This is Kundalini, Mahakundalini. What is Mahakundalini? Where does it come from? What it does? What kind of additional wisdom it's able to help in human being reach that level to divine consciousness of Paramatma. We will talk about it in the next video. So thank you very much for making me golden opportunity to explain Kundalini, major chakras, nadis, and Satchakra Nirupana in the light of modern sciences from Akhand Vidyashram, spiritual science of the nature which can make us achieve all the objectives which are dedicated to divine nature, are attributed to divine nature, and we can experience that and be one with the universe and reveal all the secrets in the process. From that, I am only sharing my experience with conviction. It is not a copy of something else. Let me make it very clear. It is my experience, my explanation, and leave it at. Let's accept that. Okay, thank you very much.